You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Bakasha here with the Man Hour. Should head to manhourradio.com. Check out the blog section, of course. Check out the merchandise section as well. We do got new merch dropping each and every month over there. Right now, we got the Takeaway 22 merch on sale for 20%, and all proceeds go to the Kalaha Project. That is a soldier suicide prevention organization that helps bring suicide awareness to the military community. So if you guys are interested in donating any money to that, pick up a t-shirt. They're $15, and like I said, all proceeds go to the Kalaha Project. But guys, I got a special guest on here tonight. We always love our Titans fans, and as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I got to welcome Chris onto the show from Titans and the Truth. He is part of the Man Hour Sports Network here. So, Chris, welcome to the show. But before we get any carried away, tell the people a little bit about your show and what you do over there.
Man, well, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. And basically, Titans and Truth is, as you can see on the hat, basically talking all things Titans. I usually live every Wednesday around 5 o'clock. 5:30, depending on what's going on with me, I, put it out a little bit early, but talking all things Titans. And then of course, sometimes when I'm not at the game, I do live streams on Sunday, reacting to the game as it's happening. So it's all things Titans, but I am starting to branch out and, going into 2023, we'll be bringing in some things about the rest of the NFL as well. So definitely we'll have that coming up. If it's all right, I'll talk about that later on in the show.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're definitely going to talk about that epic collapse that the Tennessee Titans have had since starting off the season 7-3, and now they're ultimately out of the playoffs. I would welcome my man Arthur Brown to the show. Arthur Brown says, "What's up, Buck? Fins up, baby." So as you guys know, the Miami Dolphins did make the playoffs. However, the Tennessee Titans did not. So there'll be a lot of Arthur Brown gloating and stuff tonight because I told him all season long, Chris, that his Miami Dolphins were a complete bust, that they were not going to do anything in there whatsoever, and he stuck to his guns. Like, no, we are making it, and bada bing, bada boom, they made it. Let me ask you this question here. As we started out the season, the Tennessee Titans had a 94% chance of making the playoffs after their 7-3 start. 94%. It was pretty much a lock. Meaning the Jaguars were at 3 wins. I think the Colts maybe had 3 wins at the time. The Texans just had the 1 win and the tie as well. Then they went on this 7-game losing streak to ultimately lose Week 18 to get bumped out of the playoffs. As a Titans fan, and we know it is Black Monday out there, should Mike Vrabel lose his job?
Well, I will say this. If some of y'all haven't watched my show, Titans and Truth, definitely go check it out, especially a post-game I did yesterday. And I talked quite a bit about that. I thought that Mike Vrabel should have at least been discussed. I think when you lose 7 in a row like this, I get it. A lot of people will say, yeah, he was coach of the year last year. And, we had so many injuries and everything. And I get all of that. If the injuries had just been this year and this had happened, maybe I would give Vrabel a pass on this one. But ladies and gentlemen out there, as some of you probably know, we played 91 players last year. We had a lot of injuries last year too, particularly to one of our two best offensive weapons at the time, the King, Derrick Henry. And we still somehow won 12 games, the division, got the number 1 seed. We have a lot of injuries this year. Played, I believe, 80. It was between 83 and 86 players this year. So we were just as injured this year as we were last year. Yet we couldn't pull it off. And I hear a lot of people saying we were injured. I'm sorry. Quit using injuries as an excuse. It may be one of the reasons, but don't use it as an excuse or a crutch. Now, as far as Mike Vrabel is concerned, I would have actually been cool if he was fired.
Okay.
But this is why. And I'm going to be bringing some breaking news that happened today. Mike Vrabel had Todd Downing as his offensive coordinator. The offense finished 30th in the league in both passing and total offense. That's horrible. And he took over an offense that was number 3 just a couple of years ago. 3rd. And he completely flushed it down the toilet. That's inexcusable. In this last game against the Jaguars, this is a crazy stat that I found out, and it was astonishing because I saw this during the game. There were 28 first down plays that the Titans ran. 24 of them were runs. Just run. No creativity. No play action. No quick passes. I'm thinking to myself, going crazy, it's okay to pass the ball on first down. But all of this was happening all year. We were struggling. We had a left tackle by the name of Dennis Daly. I call him the Dud. The guy's the worst offensive lineman in the NFL. He couldn't block me. I probably could have gotten some sacks against him. And I would say, who allowed all of this to happen? Mike Vrabel allowed all of this to happen. He could have stopped a lot of this. On my show, I asked the question to people, and I would ask you this too. I said, during the streak, could Mike Vrabel stop the bleeding, or were the Titans going to bleed out? And obviously, they bled out. John Robinson, our general manager, got fired during this losing streak. We lose twice to the Jags. We lose to the Texans, who was the worst team in the NFL. And shout out to Lovie Smith, by the way, giving the one-finger salute to the Texans by winning the game, costing them the number 1 pick. And all of this was happening, and Vrabel was letting it happen. And he was doing it just like our guy, just like Mike Mularkey did a couple of years ago, when all he had to do was fire his offensive coordinator. He would have kept the job. He said no. Mike Mularkey got fired. It was going down that exact same rabbit hole again. It was too similar. But a lot of people thought I was crazy. Like, why would you do that? We had injuries. I'm thinking because Mike Vrabel wanted the smoke. He wanted all this power, and he didn't know how to handle it. And you let Todd Downing be offensive coordinator way longer than he should have been. He had the DUI against Green Bay, did nothing about it. Didn't even suspend him or take away his duties for a couple of games, nothing of that. And when that happened, and then today I didn't really feel great either after the press conference saying, well, we're going to continue to evaluate. We'll continue to evaluate and we'll see what happens and everything. We're evaluating everybody. Now, Vrabel should not be fired, at least right now, because at least the news broke about an hour ago. Todd Downing was fired as offensive coordinator. So that just happened. So at least I can say I was wrong. Mike Vrabel at least had the guts to release one of his buddies. So at least for right now, Mike Vrabel should be safe for the moment. But yeah, if he didn't do that, and maybe our owner, Miss Amy, or the new general manager comes into him and says, you need to fire Todd Downing, and he says no, then absolutely he should have been fired. But because he fired Todd Downing, seeing what the new general manager will do and what maybe new moves happen, maybe I'll give Vrabel another chance. But next year, if he's still on this upcoming season, his seat's going to be pretty warm because he better win.
Right. So my man Alpha Rob pops in the chat here. He says, Buck, you've been on some crazy times lately. So Alpha Rob, we're doing something new over here at Man Hour. We are live every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. East Coast time. Just myself and Combs. We are live, raw, uncut, live, just like we always are. And then Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. we're doing the after hours, welcoming on people, on giving them a platform, giving them a chat out, kind of just like a chill, relaxed thing here. But Chris, my man Alpha Rob says, trading your number one receiver and not replacing him was Tennessee's problem in the first place. Do you agree with that? Do you think trading A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles, pretty much getting nothing in return, like in return, do you think that is the real reason in Tennessee? Not the offensive coordinator, not the lack of offense production. It's just the fact that they didn't have a receiver for Ryan Tannehill to throw to this season.
I love this question because I get to now rub it in some of my fellow Tennessee Titans faces because I said I'm going to say something that I said since the end of the playoffs last year. The Tennessee Titans should have paid that man. I really even said that before then. A.J. Brown should still be a Tennessee Titan today. I would have paid him if I was running the team. I would have gave A.J. as much as he wanted, maybe without going nuts. I had a guy on, his name is Teron Davenport from ESPN, and we were talking about wide receivers, and we were talking about A.J. I said I would offer him about a 5-year deal of maybe about $110 million. That's about 23 and a half. I would have offered him that. AJ wanted to stay. AJ would have accepted 22, 23 million and would have been fine. But that was the single biggest mistake John Robinson made, and I believe that was why he got fired. Not to mention AJ Brown took John Robinson and the Titans to the woodshed and beat them like they stole something.
Yeah, they did.
And honestly, the Tennessee Titans John Robinson, the upper brass, deserved that butt whooping that they got. I wasn't mad at all when Philadelphia kicked our tails in front of everybody because it basically proved my point. So that was the single biggest mistake in John Robinson's tenure. Well, he's made a couple others, but that was the biggest one. And that is the reason why John Robinson does not have a job right now. And I think that is a real reason why the Tennessee Titans are not getting ready to play a playoff game next week. A.J. Brown had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons, and then his third year, due to injury, I think he had close to 900. If he wasn't injured, he would have been over 1,000 again. He goes to Philly and completely showed out. Nearly 1,500 yards receiving. Now, he might have not gotten that much here, but he would have been well close to maybe 1,200.
Right.
And we would need every bit of it. So, yeah, big mistake, and we paid the price for it.
Yeah, so many of the people over here are agreeing with you. Arthur Brown says, yes, that was the issue. Golfer Rob says, you have to replace them. Drew is like, man, A.J. Brown, I was shocked on draft night. So you as a Titans fan, obviously you were probably watching the draft. We were doing a live draft show, and when I got the alert that A.J. Brown was traded to the Eagles, a guy wasn't even thinking of the receiver. I was thinking probably some defensive player that we've never heard of, right? Just like the Lamar Jackson from the Denver Broncos, right? Like Lamar Jackson from the Denver Broncos. Yeah, he's a cornerback. So I can't even think of A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans getting traded, a wide receiver on your guys' team. When you heard that news, how did you feel inside? Did your heart just break, or were you ready to throw in the towel, take off your jersey, burn it? Like, what were your thoughts, man?
I'm glad you asked me this question, and thank y'all for the question. I'm going to tell y'all a story. I will tell you exactly where I was and what happened. So, I was gearing up. I was going to do a draft show as well. I was originally going to go to Vegas, where the draft was. Some things happened financially with me. I ended up going to Florida to visit my family instead. And so I took all my equipment with me because I did a live draft show. Before I could do that, the draft was going on. I was getting something to eat with my family. And so before we get home, I'm listening to the draft. I'm, looking at my phone. And during, I think, one of the local shows or whatever was going on, news pops up. A.J. Brown traded to the Eagles. And I think another one of my followers and some other fans was like, are you seeing this right now? A.J. got traded? I'm like, whoa, hold up. That's got to be a lie, right? There's no way that can be true. So I go get on my phone, and it said, sure as shooting, A.J. Brown just got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for, I believe, the 18th pick. When I tell you, I was beyond angry. I was white hot. And luckily enough, if it wasn't for the fact that my mom and my brother, we were in the car waiting on some food, I wanted to blow a gasket. And when I got on live, I literally did. I was that angry, that pissed off about what happened. I said, what in the hell is John Robinson doing? You do not trade one of your very best offensive weapons. And for what? We get a 1, a 3. We get a number 1 and a number 3. And I'm thinking, what maybe even more upset, it wasn't just that A.J. Brown got traded. It's the fact that all you got was their first-round pick this year. So we got 2 first-round picks now at that point, and then we get a third. I'm like, if you're going to trade A.J. Brown, you should have got more. You should have got another first-round pick for this year's draft. You could have gotten a lot more than that. And John Robinson not only was dumb in trading A.J. Brown, he got fleeced. Literally. And it came back to bite him. But yes, I'm a dedicated Titans fan. I love doing this. But when I tell you, I wanted to hop on a plane, go back to Nashville, try to get to the headquarters if I could. And I would have beat John Robinson within an inch of his life for this move if it was me. And I think a lot of other fans felt the same way. And you see what A.J. Brown did in Philly. There's a lot of Titan fans that tell me, you got to let A.J. Brown go. You got to let him go. He's not here anymore. 1,496 yards receiving. 1,400 yards, almost 1,500 yards receiving. Almost 90 catches, 11 touchdowns. What am I supposed to let go?
So me as a Chiefs fan, many people said the same thing about me about Tyreek Hill. But in the back of my mind, us trading Tyreek Hill was a blessing in disguise. We ended up getting like 5 picks for him, right? Maybe it was 6. Yeah. And the problem with Tyreek Hill is Patrick Mahomes was trying to force feed Tyreek Hill the ball over and over and over and causing us to lose some games and be in bad situations. The difference between you guys and us is we had other people around him, and we brought other people in to make up for that mistake. Alpha Rob says, I guess Tennessee thought that Robert Woods could replace A.J. Brown. The same Roger Woods that just came off, was it an Achilles injury, right? Or was it ACL? I can't remember for
ACL.
Yeah, like ACL. So you as a Titans fan, did you really think that that Robert Woods could have come in and replaced A.J. Brown, the production-wise and number-wise and everything?
Absolutely not. I mean, I was looking forward to seeing A.J. and Robert Woods together.
Right.
I mean, Robert Woods would be could have been a nice number 2, maybe even a number 3. I would have liked to have seen Brown, Burks, Woods together. Now, that I could have got on board with, but there was no way that we were, replacing A.J. Brown with Robert Woods. Absolutely not. Robert Woods is not a number 1. And I'm going to comment with what you're talking about with the Chiefs. Yeah, forcing it to Tyreek Hill, but I mean, if it was me with the Titans, yeah, I would be forcing the ball to A.J. Brown or Julio Jones as much as I wanted to.
Right.
But the Titans did believe in that. And they only started force-feeding A.J. late because they see it was actually working and it actually led to victories. But with Kansas City, like you said, you got so many other weapons that you can go to. Besides Tyreek, you had Kelsey, you had Hardman. And now, with Tyreek gone, y'all still have Kelsey. You have Valdez-Scantling, Juju, Sky Moore when sometimes he's not fumbling the ball.
Yeah.
Wilson. You still got people to throw to, and mainly because you got that darn number 15 back there, which we don't have. So, I mean, absolutely not. Robert Woods could never replace A.J. Brown. It's not too many receivers that could.
So I'm glad you brought up Patrick Mahomes, Mr. MVP, him like himself, Super Bowl winning quarterback. I definitely understand you guys will never experience a championship or a MVP quarterback in the very near future. But this year, you guys have kind of maybe got a quarterback controversy kind of brewing, right? Like obviously Ryan Tannehill went down. Your number 4 draft pick, right? Kind of shit the bed this season, and then Josh Dobbs kind of showed some spark late in the season. Do you think, for one, there will be a quarterback controversy going into 2023 NFL season? And if so, who do you think the starting quarterback will be for the Titans next year?
You know what? That's a very good question. It depends on what they decide to do with Ryan Tannehill with his contract. Tannehill going down was just as big of an injury as if Derrick Henry went down. And obviously we weren't able to recover from that. I think Ryan Tannehill, when he was in there, was pretty decent. He does have a cap hit. I believe he has a $36 million cap hit this upcoming season. If the Titans decide to cut him or trade him before June 1st, you're saving about $18.8 million against the cap. If you do after June 1st, I believe it's around $27 million. We still have to eat about $9 million of dead cap if we decide to get rid of Tannehill. Although I could see Tannehill being back. Malik Willis, our late 3rd round pick that we got in the trade. I think Malik was set up to fail. Because I don't think Mike Vrabel and Todd Downing were fully sold on him completely through the season, because the way I think they had him running the offense, it was extremely rudimentary. And I think they were trying to make him kind of run it close to what Tannehill was doing. And Tannehill and Willis are 2 different quarterbacks. They didn't really use his legs enough, and they didn't really get him out on the perimeter where he could be a little bit more dangerous. And they didn't really use a lot of run play option or read option with him and Derek, which I think could have been extremely dangerous if they had used that more. So I think they set him up to fail, but he also crapped himself in late games in the fourth quarter in late game situations. That we saw that against Houston twice, and not against Houston twice. The second time we played Houston, and in the Sunday night game against Kansas City, when you had a chance to drive and get a tie and try to win that game. Josh Dobbs is a very interesting case. It's a very interesting prospect. I think Josh Dobbs should at least be brought back to compete for that backup role. I wouldn't just hand it to him. I think he has a chance to compete for that role. He did do some good things because I noticed they did a lot more rollouts. They gave him a little bit more freedom to do some things. But one thing that Josh Dobbs needs to take care of, he didn't take care of the football very well. Yeah, Malik threw a pick. I think threw a pick here and there. But Josh Dobbs really had some ball security issues. And the last play that was pretty controversial, where it looked like he may have been throwing the ball forward, but it got knocked out, ruled a fumble. Jags returning for a touchdown, ball game. So I could see three quarterbacks being there. I could see them going back to Tannehill as the guy, at least right now. Depending on who the new general manager is. I mean, with the Texans not having the number one pick, you could try to jump ahead of the Texans or jump ahead of the Colts and maybe go get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Probably got to give up a little bit, but you could go get one of those two guys. We're picking 11, so we're kind of within range. Or if not, see what's out there. I mean, I don't think there's really any quarterbacks out there that's better than Tannehill. Maybe Aaron Rodgers, possibly, or as some people would love, Tom Brady. I don't really know if that's going to help, especially with how bad our offensive line is. But if Tannehill is not back, I could see a little controversy. If Tannehill is back, there will be none. You go with Tannehill because I think he at least gives you a chance to at least keep competing. But I would see us at least rebuilding this offense.
Yeah, so Combsy Jr. is in the chat there. He says, "Man, our nation, rise up." What's up, Combs? Hoping to have a grand old night here. And Alpha Rob brings up an interesting point here, and I know you are very crunched on time here, so let's kind of keep this short. I got two questions for you here. What do you think about Derek Carr to the Tennessee Titans? Does that possibly make sense to you at all, Derek Carr?
If I had to choose between Tannehill and Derek Carr, I'm sticking with Ryan Tannehill. I think they're pretty much the same. I think Tannehill is a little bit better than Derek Carr, honestly, in my opinion. I think with Josh McDaniels, I think the Raiders kind of found themselves a little bit later in the year. But I would still stick with Tannehill.
Okay, so I mean, you wouldn't want to trade for Ryan or for Derek Carr at all, which he has a no trade clause in his contract moving forward. But Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill, I think, are both very underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. But before we let you go, obviously this is playoff time. Your Titans are not in it. Combs Jr. says Chiefs, Vikings, Super Bowl, and many people else are thinking Chiefs, Eagles. Who do you have as your Super Bowl pick?
Now that you asked that question, I'm actually making sure I have all my teams up here. My Super Bowl pick, if I'm going off the top of my head, I think from the NFC, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark. I think I'm gonna go with the 49ers. I think the 49ers come out from the NFC. I mean, I think and this is the perfect example of why I'm glad Todd Downing got fired. And I said this before. A good coordinator or a good coach knows how to hide deficiencies, knows how to work the scheme to fit the players that they have. San Francisco's on a third quarterback. They could ride Brock Purdy possibly to the Super Bowl. I think they're hot right now. They're the hot kettle. And, you got Debo, you got Kittle, you got Christian McCaffrey there now. I'm going to ride San Francisco and, of course, Shout out to my late dad, who was a big 49ers fan. So I'm going to go with the 49ers, even though I could see Philly out of there too. So I think Philly 49ers in the AFC, in the NFC Championship, 49ers. On the NFC side, I think it comes down to between Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. I'm going with Buffalo, and this is why. Buffalo, they have a renewed sense of purpose now. With what happened with DeMar Hamlin, and and first of all, thank God he's gonna be okay. Thank God he's gonna be okay. He returned to Buffalo today, got released from the hospital. So prayers up for DeMar Hamlin. Glad you're okay. Buffalo is playing, they have an extra motivation, an extra purpose beyond football, which could make them very dangerous. So I have San Francisco, Buffalo in the Super Bowl. And I think I'm going to go with Buffalo hanging it up. I think Buffalo raises the Lombardi trophy because, again, they're playing with a purpose.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Alpha Rob just said the same thing. Bills, 49ers. The only thing I want to throw a wrench into your picks there is that the 49ers do play the Seahawks very first game. They've already beaten them twice this season. What is the hardest thing to do in the NFL? Beat a team 3 times. And so, and the Seahawks were the team that kind of snuck in there, right? They had to let the Detroit Lions beat the Green Bay Packers to like make it in there. So they're playing on borrowed time. So if the 49ers can get past the Seahawks, which I don't think they will, but if they do, they're definitely the favorite in the NFC, hands down. But Chris, thank you for.
Agree.
Go ahead.
Oh, I agree. And I will say one other thing. I'm going to give a dark horse. And I cannot believe I'm actually going to say this. Well, first off, I'm going to say Kansas City. I think it's Kansas City and Buffalo. I think that's a rematch. I think that's going to happen this time in the AFC Championship. And I would actually look forward to that because I didn't really get to watch last year's game because I was just so numb and messed up from what happened with the Titans. I didn't even watch that game, and I know it was a great one. A dark horse. I'm with you with Seattle, Jacksonville. Yeah. I think the Jaguars, they could be a dark horse. Trevor Lawrence could become the next media darling that everybody likes. They're really hot right now, and I think they could win a game or two, make some noise. I think they could make a team or two pretty nervous. I don't think they're going to get past Buffalo or Kansas City, but they could be a dark horse.
Yeah, I mean, it is all about getting hot right at the right time. And a team that is hot is also the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You can never count them out. They are playing home versus the Dallas Cowboys. And if I remember right, Tom Brady has never lost in the first round. Is that correct? Am I remembering?
I believe that. Well,
correct?
Except to us.
Well, yeah, right. But yeah, so I mean, the good things are happening. Alpha Rob says this guy is smart, Buck. Yeah, Chris is a very, very smart man. He is a Titans fan, guys. Titans and the Truth. Link is in the description. Go check out his YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. We are going to have Chris on Mondays moving forward here just to talk some NFL sports, just to hang out and have a good time. But before we head out, Chris, anything you want to tell the people?
Yeah, first of all, Mike, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for having me on the network. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Look forward to future collaborations. Definitely going to have you on TNT as well. Again, like you said, y'all, Titans and Truth. You can find me on YouTube under Titans and Truth. Also be on the NFL Talk channel as well. Definitely check me out on Facebook at TNT Enforcers. Just go ahead and ask to join the group. I'll get you in there. On Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer. That's TNT BLUEN 4CER. And then on Instagram at Titans_N_Truth. That's where you can find me on any of the social media platforms. I go live every Wednesday around 5 o'clock. And And then, of course, I will be all year long. So I will be definitely doing some stuff going into the off season. We got a GM search we got going on, an offensive coordinator search that we're about to do as well. Definitely going to have some stuff coming up. Maybe do a little something for the Super Bowl. I might do a little something for that. And then, of course, a lot of draft talk will be coming as well. So stay tuned.
Yeah, Chris, as always, man, thank you for joining us. I had a great time talking some Tennessee Titans for you. You get me fired up talking about the Titans, even though I'm a Chiefs fan. Hey, if the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs do play in the AFC Championship game, we got to get together and have like a little watch party. Me and the boys can go down to Nashville. We can find a bar and hang out and have a good old time.
Yeah, well, you have to actually come to Memphis, so
Same
thing.
thing.
Definitely come to Memphis, get some good barbecue, something like that. Or
Kansas City's barbecue's
like
better, but it's okay. Memphis barbecue is just average. Kansas City's barbecue.
I get why you said that. I get why you said that. We may have to do something about that Battle of the Barbecue or something like that. We may have to do something.
There we go. Let's do it. All right, man. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a great night, man. Enjoy yourself. And who do you got tonight? TCU or Georgia?
Ooh, good pick. I may have to put a bet in on that. I think TCU will cover.
13 and a half points.
Georgia wins.
There you go. I love it. All right, Chris. Thanks, man.
No problem.
All right. I see my man Drew popping in the chat there. What is up, Drew? Hope you're having a grand old time. Drew says Hooters in downtown Nashville. Drew, Hooters has to be one of the most overrated restaurants out there. Let's just be honest. Who goes to Hooters for food? I don't go to Hooters for food. We have a Hooters right here in Louisville. The only reason why we go there is for nice asses. It is what it is. If I want to go to Hooters, Drew, I'm just going to get blue balls. I'm going to come home. My wife's like, where have you been? You smell like hookers. Well, we were at Hookers. Hooters, but hookers, right? It is what it is. So my man Arthur Brown, let me scroll back up to the top here of the chat. We got a lot of chats popping in. He says, how is that Vrabel's fault that the front office screwed up? So this was referring, I guess, to the A.J. Brown trade, right? Obviously, Mike Vrabel has a lot of say in Cincinnati, Arthur. Mike Vrabel is basically like an acting GM, right? He says, if I want this, this, and this, he has yes men there, right? He had a lot of yes men there, and so, excuse me, that is how it is his fault that the front office screwed up. Now, I'm really not referring to what you think of the screw up is. Do you think the screw up is trading A.J. Brown or only getting 2 picks out of it? Or thinking that Robert Woods could, be a good asset without A.J. Brown? So I'm kind of confused of what you're trying to go there. Just like Arthur, but Vrabel is basically like all hands on deck. This is my team, right? So Alvarado says, who is it? Who's going to be the KC guy coming on Buck U? What? So who's going to be the KC guy coming on? I don't think we're having a KC guy coming on. We were talking about KC barbecue, Alpha Rob, because my man Chris is from Memphis, right? Memphis, Tennessee. They say that's the barbecue capital of the world, but we all know it's in Kansas City. Kansas City is the best barbecue in the United States of America. Better than Carolina barbecue. I don't even know. People think Carolina's a barbecue place, but apparently it is. Better than Memphis. Better than Chicago. Kansas City, hands down, all day long, twice on Sunday. LOL, Drew says. And Cuban Buck Pirate Martinez says, Hooter wings are amazing. Hooter wings are amazing because you have the eye candy to think you're eating something good. Cuba Buck. Must be a Buccaneers fan. If you are, man, thanks for tuning into that. Thanks for tuning in. Honestly, the Buffalo Wild Wings have gone downhill since freaking Arby's bought them out. The only good wings nowadays that are in a chain restaurant type thing is from Pizza Hut. Now, there's some places here in Louisville that have some fire-ass wings. But I have not had a really, really good wing for a very long time. Drew says Cliff Kingsbury was fired. Yes, it has been discussed for a couple weeks that Cliff Kingsbury will be stepping down, right? He wasn't fired. He is stepping down, right? And the GM is stepping down for health-related issues as well. Basically, I feel like it was a us or him type of situation there in Arizona, Drew. Meaning Kyler Murray or Cliff Kingsbury and the GM. And Cliff Kingsbury and the GM's like, you know what? The ownership wants to take Kyler Murray's side, take him, but we all know how I think about Kyler Murray right now. He is a flash in the pan, much like Lamar Jackson. In a couple years, they're both going to be backups in the NFL. Kyler Murray isn't even the best quarterback on his team. Colt McCoy is better than Kyler Murray. Give Colt McCoy all the starting reps next season, bada bing, bada boom. The Arizona Cardinals might be in the playoffs. I'm just saying. Calling a spade a spade. How did this? I hate when this happens, when like that random stupid weather app pops up on your computer. So dumb. Alpha Rob says, taking Chiefs, who do you bring on? Talking Chiefs, who do you bring on? Do you want to talk some Chiefs, like Alpha Rob? I have some connections in Kansas City. We can bring on Mitch Holtis, right? The voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Fun fact, Mitch used to call my high school games back in the day, back before he broke into the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. But there are a lot of Chiefs fans that I can bring on if you want to talk Kansas City Chiefs. When the Kansas City Chiefs play the Buffalo Bills, if they do, because I don't think the Buffalo Bills will make it past the second round of this year's playoffs, would they play Miami, and then they would play either the Bengals or who's the sixth seed? Who is the sixth seed? I don't know. They would probably play the Bengals, and I don't see them beating the Bengals. So, Alpha Rob, if you want me to bring somebody on to talk Kansas City Chiefs football, we can. Let me reach out and see if I can't bring somebody on. Tomorrow we got my man Wayne G popping in on us to talk some New England Patriots. Do you guys think Bill Belichick should be fired? We will be talking about that with the blog writer himself, Wayne G, about the Patriots. And Drew. Sorry, Buck. Texas barbecue is the best. Drew, I thought we were friends, Drew. I really, truly thought we were friends. When you voiced that blasphemy coming out of your mouth, everything is not better in Texas, Drew. Nope, everything is not better than Texas. They don't have better hamburgers. They don't have better women. They don't have better cattle. And they certainly do not have better barbecue. Kansas trumps everything. Kansas City alone trumps everything in Texas. Better football, better barbecue, better cattle, better women. Jesus, Drew. I thought we were friends. I can't believe you said that. Arthur Brown says they may not even get past the first round. Are we talking about the Buffalo Bills? So, Alpha Rob, my man Arthur Brown over here at Facebook.com/ManHour is a Miami Dolphins guy. You guys are playing for the third time this season. Winner take all in this rubber match. Do we have a friendly wager? A shave head bet, shave face bet, shave leg bet. Alpha Rob, Arthur Brown, Bills versus Miami Dolphins. Let's figure it out, baby. Scott Thompson, my man from the Kansas State University, my alum. Let's get it happening. Arthur Brown, Alpha Rob, hit me up on Twitter at manhour_Buck, and we'll make it happen. We will make it happen. Arthur Brown says, of course, let's make it happen. Drew says, howdy, Rob. Of course. What's up, Drew? And then Alpha Rob says, Bills are not losing to the trash Miami Dolphins as the trash talk starts. Let's go, baby. This is why we do Man Hour. Talk your shit, boys. Talk it. Alpha Rob says, Buffalo Bills are not losing to the trash Miami Dolphins. But you see, Alpha Rob, I might jump on the Arthur Brown train right now. Tua is not going to play, right? Teddy Bridgewater has a dislocated finger or a broken finger. Probably not going to play either. Skylar Thompson, I have seen this man in such adverse situations, playing for the Kansas State Wildcats, winning mini games, learning how to throw the ball, run the ball, changing offenses, doing whatever. This is his third game as a starter, right? He is now 1-1 as a starter. Obviously, the Miami Dolphins offense sucked last week for this versus the New York Giants. Let's make no twist about that. They sucked, but give this man another week taking first reps, all the first team reps. Give him a win. Going into the playoffs where the Buffalo Bills are looking past everybody and looking at the Cincinnati Bengals in the next round, watch out, baby. Yes, I know what Chris said about how they're playing with a renewed, sense of reason, right? With the whole DeMar thing. Glad he's home. But do not sleep on the Miami Dolphins. I have said the Miami Dolphins are trash. Not a trash team, but they're not ready to win yet. But this is the perfect trap game for the Buffalo Bills. Miami Dolphins squeaked in. The Buffalo Bills smacked down the New England Patriots. They might be emotionally drained right now. Emotionally drained from what has happened with the Hamlin, with the New England Patriots game, making the playoffs, all this press coverage. They might just be mentally drained. Arthur, Alpha Rob says, we can make it happen. Let's make something happen. Let's get this friendly Bills-Miami Dolphins bet happening, right? I mean, when we do bets here on the Man Hour, we don't do money. We don't do all that crap, right? Shave some heads, say who's your daddy, right? Give just something fun. Shave your legs. How about this? Shave half a freaking eyebrow. I did that to Combs. He still hasn't shaved a little pecker head, but we'll get to that. Of course, it was like his wedding week when we made that bet. And he may have not gotten married if he would have had to shave his face and his head. I'm just pointing out there. But, guys, that is going to be it for the after-hour show tonight. Like I said, guys, we are trying something new over here at Man Hour. Every Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. East Coast time, we are live right here on said place that you're listening to is Facebook.com or YouTube.com. And, of course, we got the after-hour show. It's just so relaxed. Nothing's planned. I bring on Chris, Wayne G, Combsy, Mike LeBlanc, and then we have, Soup Boss and Hoffy and all those boys are joining us Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. East Coast time. So if you guys like the after hours, just a cooler talk type of thing, this is for you. But if you like the, way or no way factor crap, all that stuff, 2 p.m. is where it is. But of course, you guys, you can always check us out on podcast form if you've missed any episode, or most importantly, the clips. The clips is where all the magic is. If you guys like just seeing a little bit of sample size, bada bing, bada boom, youtube.com/man hour, get those clips. But that is going to be it for tonight, guys. I am going to watch a little bit of the championship game with the old wifey before I head out to the old job place. Earn those bills, yo. And I see a lot more comments pop, and all of a sudden, Drew. So I definitely can't get to those because I, just told Cindy I'm getting ready to come inside. So bada bing, bada boom, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. East Coast time, live, raw, uncut sports talk. I am Michael Blackcaster. See you guys tomorrow.